Hello everybody, so this is the final part for now on my Dark Side of Spirituality Witchcraft special, and as promised, it's the nasty one, it's death magic. Okay, I've done a little bit more research on this one, and I'm going to be reading some bits out in a second from the screen, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm looking down there in a moment. Now, death magic is a form of black magic, and it is a way of knocking somebody off, basically. Often called unaliving yourself. From what I understand with death magic and what I'm about to read in a second or two, it's not so much using magic to get somebody to come and off you. Although that can happen, it's more along the lines of you committing suicide, basically. Now, as I say, in my black magic episode, I believe that I am taking a lot of heavy black magic hits at the moment. They're not really bothering me anymore, to be honest with you. They're just fucking irritating. You know, you can get who you want to do it now, because like I say, I know your magic's gone. You can get your mum, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, your best witches, whoever. It don't work. It's just irritating. It's really just fucking irritating. It's just wasting my time, to be honest with you. Anyway, yeah, I believe that recently death magic was performed on me as well to unalive myself. As many of you will know, if you follow me, sorry, my camera's going a bit wonky, I did ended up taking myself to the hospital. Now, in my experience, was I going through a stressful period? Yeah. I just spent a fortune on my car. My work had started drying up, shockingly. I found out I was being evicted, and then my so-called partner basically dumped me during that time. So yes, it was an extremely stressful period. However, not one to negate mental health issues by any stretch of the imagination, and I am still looking into getting some mental health support for my abandonment issues. I've had a lot of mental health issues in my time, and I've never experienced anything like that. Nothing like that before. The best way I can describe it is like my soul was being pulled out my top of my head. It was a bit like having the life sucked out of you by a Dementor on Harry Potter. And I went from just feeling tired, frustrated, upset, to going, I'm going to end it. I'm going to get in the bath and get the razor blades out. And then luckily, something at the back of my mind went, get the fuck up. We're not doing this. I had a vision of two guides of some sort that I've never seen before come through, telling me to get up. Now, this happened in the evening, happened overnight, and then it happened again the following day after a quite intense conversation. Now, some of you won't believe this, and that's perfectly fine. Don't give a shit. I do. Okay, I do. Like I say, I've never, ever experienced anything like that. Now, I'm just going to quickly read through some of the blurb on here. Let me just see if I can get the. So this came from the flowerranch.com. Right, so I'm just going to read through some bits that they put on there. So the first point to note is before casting a death spell on a man, a spellcaster will first confirm that the victim is indeed guilty of something. This means that you should be genuinely seeking revenge on them for wronging you. If they are not wrong, the demons and evil spirits will harm and affect other people, sometimes even affect the spellcasters themselves. Okay? If this collective can tell me what the fuck I've done wrong, then please do. Backfiring. Okay. Once the death spell has been cast, the effects are so powerful to the extent that they even affect the victim's family members and close friends. One might wonder, how do these death spells cause death? Easy. Death spells that work makes death appear to be normal occurrence. The spirits start by monitoring the body of the victim, looking for a weak point to launch their attack on. For example, they might realise that the victim falls sick frequently or has an underlying condition. Such a victim will be easily vulnerable to death caused by these black magic death spells. This is because by taking over the power system of the victim, they will become weaker and more vulnerable to death. Even the slightest of illness would develop into a chronic condition that causes death sooner or later. For example, somebody who says that they have abandonment issues and paranoia and is quite happy to talk about their mental health issues. There are different ways your victim can meet their demise after a death spell is cast. Below are some of the ways that have been observed over the years. You have to excuse me, I'm dyslexic, so I struggle a bit with this. 1, the victim might struggle with themselves and end up committing suicide. These demons and evil spirits will torment the victim badly. They might even end up running themselves into an accident just to die. 2, another person might kill the victim. For example, the spirits might make him commit a crime such as a burglary, and they end up being killed in the mix. 3, the voodoo curse of death might also cause an unknown illness that will weaken the victim to death. These are just but examples of how the death curse works. You might even have heard of such situations out there too. Such weird deaths come about due to these spirits and demons affecting the victim's power system, mind and body. This can cause changes in the body, making them get weaker and weaker over time. Don't be surprised to hear the manageable disease such as diabetes prove to be fatal and terminal for them. Now, since experiencing this black magic and death magic, like I say, I have successfully managed to fight it off, but I have lost weight. Now, interestingly, one of the people, I'm saying one of the people because I believe this was a collective effort, has started to put on a lot of weight. What goes around comes around. Lastly, you have to find out whether your victim is protected by any items of witchcraft. There are items such as bones and pendants that have been made by powerful spellcasters to tackle the effects of voodoo spells for death. If the victim has such items, the probability of the spell going through are really slim. I would add to that what sort of spiritual protection they have around them as well. Okay. Bottom line, black magic death spells are some of the most dangerous and deadly, but they can also be very effective. And because of their lethal nature, it is always a bad idea to handle a death spell on your own. If you want to use black magic death spells for any reason, it is important that you do your research first so that nothing goes wrong. Okay. That, again, would indicate that this is a collective effort. Now, let's be fucking crystal clear here, right? You thought you got me. And I messaged the weakest link at the time because I didn't know what was going off. And I said, I'm going to hospital. I got very little compassion or care. And as much as you can get a reaction from a text message, when I came out of the hospital a mere 2 hours later, being prescribed only sleeping tablets, there was shock. There was shock in that response. There was very little response, but there was shock. Okay, let's be crystal clear here. This is going on. Okay, this is going on. Now, if you feel like you have been affected by this, specifically by this collective, okay, if you feel like you've been affected by death magic, then you can book in and I'll do a hex removal for you. If you feel you have been affected by this collective, again, anybody in the community, if you feel like you know who they are, you're going to have to tell me who you think they are, because like I say, I'm not going to be running around doing this for I've got too much on. Tell me who you think it is, and if it is the same people, I will do it free of charge. But death magic is sick, cruel, and disturbing, and it needs to fucking stop. I'm going to leave it there.